Okay, so continuing in part two with the Financial Express newspaper first. After that, we'll take up the Indian Express. So, bonding with the rural poor, Lifetime Achievement Award goes to Chandrasekhar Ghosh, who is the MD and CEO of the Bandhan Bank. So, bonding with the rural poor is important okay. When we talk about even financial inclusion also. So how we are basically ensuring that financial services are present, they are being delivered, they're available in the rural areas. So here we see that Chandrasekhar, recalls a time when money lenders, they would threaten him and his team as they went about disbursing loans to the poor women in the villages. So एक time पे ये scenario भी exist करता था. So complaints would be filed with the local thanas alleging कि जो microfinance institutions है, it was a chit fund out to cheat the people. So it was never easy to deal with the situation. So even ये जो mindset था, इसके साथ deal करना एक challenge था in earlier times. So things, they got better as we saw the microfinance institutions, they grew bigger. So people started trusting them more, and the villages, they realized that they were actually getting a much better deal. So they basically started opening their bank accounts, taking finance from such institutions. So in the beginning, it was real hard work to basically get there. So microfinance institutions, they started out in Kongar in West Bengal 2001 में with just rupees 2 lakh collected from the he basically got this collected from his family members, and he had been troubled by the unserious rates of even 7.5% interest rates a month charged by the money lenders also. So he's been discussing his personal, or we can say professional, hardships that he had to dealt with when it comes to reaching the rural areas, the rural poor people. Early days, no banker was willing to lend to even the MFI funds until we had SIDB, which is uh, it came along with a loan of rupees 20 lakh at an interest rate of 9%. So it was much later banks, they realized that even lending to the microfinance institutions, it could give them higher returns. So even this avenue was opened up. And even today, he enjoys interacting with the village folk, not just to scout for the potential customers, but to stay in touch with what changes are happening in their environment. So it's very important to even understand how basically the mindset of the rural poor people has been changing when it comes to the financial services, or what importance do they give to, using, or their keenness to learn how to use those financial services when it comes to online banking or internet banking as well. So after COVID-19 pandemic, we saw stock market crashing, and from that, right now we are at an all-time high. So income from the capital gains, it zoomed 89% in the pandemic year. So change in the income profile, we see and talk about the business income. So that has increased. Salary income has also increased. Growth, when we talk about the salary income, it is 5.6%. In business income, it has been 15.8%, and other sources of income have also increased by 34.2%. So here in income, जो specifically capital gains की अगर हम बात करें, they have been reported by taxpayers that have surged in financial year 2020-21, the year that was ravaged by again COVID-19 pandemic, while salary income जो of individuals that have grown at a much lower pace. So this is one major development which has been happened, and with this we have also seen the number of people opening up their demat accounts. So with that again, the awareness about the risk which are associated with the investments or even trading in the capital market. So financial influence, their numbers have also increased. So of late, we even saw that SEBI has come up with strict rules when it comes to the number of financial influencers which are present on social media platforms giving their tips and advices, which might result into even losses for the people who think that they are personally helping them, or they are basically relying upon their advices. So even these are some of the issues that have cropped up because of the increased number or because of the growth of social media platforms. So to meet the developmental needs, the SDG goals and the global challenges, India says that we're willing to support the IMF on resource mobilization. So India to play a key role in the global supply chains. So it is undertaking some of the most robust climate actions through the nationally determined contributions, the NDCs which we have, which includes ambitious program for a transition to clean energy. So RISE stands for the Partnership for the Resilient and Inclusive Supply Chain Enhancement on the sidelines of the World Bank IMF annual meeting, which was again recently hosted. So RISE partnership एक initiative है of the World Bank and the G7 Japan presidency for the developed and the developing countries, providing an opportunity between G7 members who are interested developed countries and the low middle income countries to build momentum for enhanced collaboration on global issues of supply chain diversification for clean energy products and tackling climate change. So these are the areas where we are focusing. So India की key priorities अगर हम बात करें for clean energy transition is the solar energy, the offshore wind energy, green hydrogen, battery storage. So battery storage, this is a really important point specifically. So we have been focusing upon how basically we are improving upon or how we can improve upon when it comes to the battery storage infrastructure. So global crude oil prices, they have been volatile since September, and now with the Israel war, we are again seeing they have shot up again. So our Union Ministry flags large liquidity in the market. High oil prices, they may remain a problem for us. So if you already have a large amount of liquidity, and all those interest rate hikes that you have utilized and not been able to mop up that liquidity, then high oil process, it remains a problem because prices, crude oil prices के और increase हो रहे हैं, and despite so basically यहाँ पे जो main issue highlight करने की कोशिश की जा रही है by him, so that is कि जो inflation हो रहा है, that is because of the supply side disruptions, and repo rate hikes, it is not to directly target the supply side inflation. It is more effective when it comes to controlling the inflation due to demand side problems. So therein we have this mismatch, and despite increasing the repo rates at such a higher level, they are at an all-time high, we can say. Uske baad bhi we are seeing ki liquidity still, we are having surplus liquidity in the system, in the economy, and with that also we are seeing crude oil prices going up. So inflation और बड़ी problem हो सकती है आने वाले time में. So let's now move to Indian Express newspaper.
So as we have talked about Operation Azim to bring back home citizens from the war zone, which is going on in the Gaza state, and
I think we can move
so,
forward.
yeah.
So we
So
can take.
behind hurdlers, handwritten tribute to senior taught me how to clear hurdles. Mansi, can you please expand this, please?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, fine. India's bright young hurdler stood on the podium after winning the silver medal. तो हम जानते हैं जैसे कि एशियन गेम्स हमारे यहाँ चल रहे हैं हांगजोंग में, where number of players, number of sports persons are winning medals every day, and increasing the spirit of sportsness into the country. So Jyoti was hailed for standing up for herself, putting her point across to officials without getting perturbed and holding her nerve to win a medal. And emotionally, Jyoti shed tears on the podium. So what we can draw here is that when you do a lot of hard work and when finally your hard work reaps the benefit, that actually shed your that actually comes with a lot of emotions, which definitely needs to be taken into account when we are standing on such like podiums and winning the medals.
Yeah.
So Cabinet okays one stock portal for the youth to be unveiled on October 31st. So what it is, after tapping into the Nari Shakti plans with the passage of Women Bill, Reservation Bill, in a meeting chaired by Prime Minister Modi and the other cabinet ministers approved the establishment of an autonomous body called Mera Yuva Bharat, a youth-led development and for youth-led development and to provide equitable access to youth in various sectors. This plan is to become an overarching platform for youth development, and the portal will be starting from the October 31st, which is considered as the birth anniversary of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Today's India's youth constitute 27% of the population, and this platform is going to help them integrate into various schemes related for the youth development to engage them into the voluntary works, opportunities, and engage these young people with the central government as in the centralized youth database. So this database will help generate a lot of information regarding the youth, their achievements, and their requirements. It will unleash their true potential and provide them an opportunities to come forward and contribute in the nation building. So obviously, this is a good step as far as the youth development is concerned. So now nothing more in this. So NIA conduct raids against PFI in 6 states. As you all know that NIA is a central anti-terror agency constituted in the 2008 after the terror strikes. So it is known for its transparent, scientific, and expert management proficiencies in dealing anti-terror operations when it takes a lot of when it takes curbs on a lot of unlawful activities, as we see that it takes actions of the PFI organizations in various cities across states. So more powers should be given to the NIA in the form of special track codes should be provided in every state, which is not current so, and their prosecution should be done on early basis so as to provide space for the NIA officers to deal with more cases in a more proficient manner. So India and China is having talks on border roads. So these talks are going on since the border crisis which is happening between these two countries. And so let's wait and watch what comes out of these talks. But yes, both the sides are agree to maintain peace, and going on diplomatic channels, respecting the sovereignty and territorial integrity of each other is the stance of both the countries. As far as the friction be concerned, so Galwan Valley is known for frictions where the 20 soldiers, Indian 20 soldiers, including some of the high officers, were killed by in the cross-border infiltrations. So because of finding resolutions, buffer zones have been created, then active engagement of the troops have been deployed there. Some sort of peaceful treaties are conducted. Devsang Plains and Denchok, they are the legacy fraction points. And as we can see that 50,000 to 60,000 troops remains deployed on both the sides, and especially the air is also not clear because what we are seeing is the continuous surveillance by the air force of both the sides. So definitely this matter should be resolved as soon as possible to have peace and tranquility in the border relations. So women ready to play a bigger role in the leading country. This is a statement which is given by our President Shri Murmu. So she's focusing on the women empowerment, and she's also pointing out the national education policy, which is focusing that how to leverage the potential of the woman. She also at the university to be alert in preserving the Himalayan ecosystem. So she's in Jammu and Kashmir, and she's talking about how to utilize the potential of women, and also in benefiting the Himalayan ecosystem, we can use that. We are working in the glaciology, biodiversity conservation, Himalayan ice core laboratory is at different stages. So various types of developments which are going on. Our society and countries whose youth follow the path of development and discipline move forward on the path of progress and prosperity. And more than 66% of the women have been awarded the medals. Accomplishment of our daughters is self-confidence, courage, ability to create new records in education in various other fields is a good step. And obviously, when we are seeing that the organizations like the paramilitary forces, our defense forces, army especially, they are recruiting in very high numbers of women, the youth, our girls. So that is a good step. In the airlines also, what we are seeing today is a revolutionizing step where the women pilots are coming in and they are leading the commercial planes, they are leading the fighter planes. So obviously, a behavioral devolution is happening when such kind of mega changes are happening in the Indian society. So obviously, they should be more strengthened by active participation of different stakeholders of the society. So this we have already talked, and the Manipur government bans circulation of images and videos of violence. Well, obviously, this is a good step as far as controlling the law and order situation is concerned, and because what we saw is that huge tensions in the state because of the tribal violence, extremism, and cross-border insurgency, which was seen. But finally, what we are seeing that after taking some strict actions by the central government, the situation is in control, and the legal actions have been taken. Very sensitivity is shown towards the public and towards the private property. More violence is continuously under the surveillance, and the agencies are working on it to prevent this. Cow vigilante Monu Manesa sent to 14-day judicial custody. So this is a very important incident as far as the country's internal security is concerned, because cow vigilantism is having its association with the religious and rightism ideology, which is fueling tensions between the communities and leading to communal violence, especially if we talk about the community Muslims and Hindus, because one is considered as a beef eating and one is considered as cow protecting because of their religious and traditional beliefs, where they considered the cow as their holy mother. So, Mansi, I would like to ask you one thing, that cow vigilantism is not only the problem of Gurugram district as we are seeing from the last couple of months. So
Yes.
it is happening across the India. If we talk about Bengal, if we talk about Maharashtra, so we also see that four, you know, people were also killed there. And mostly the incidents have come where the Muslim community individuals have been caught and they have been mob, they have been bitten by the mob. So, what is your stance? As what do you think? Is this problem should be resolved, and what are the measures you will take to resolve it?
So for this, we are basically our law system, and the police, they are going to play an important role so far as maintaining law and order situation is concerned. So the well preparedness, because again, these things are pre-planned when we talk about taking out such rallies or processions. So herein, well preparedness in the sense, even the role of having that information in terms of the intelligence that you have regarding this thing. So better dealing with that situation at local level, the real ground level, that would be according to me sufficient in order to prevent such incidences, which is again, you say, it leads to communal tensions rising up in the regions where we see such issues when they are highlighted by different communities on the basis of religion.
Okay. So I think I will give two solutions, two hand solutions. One hand solution is the municipality and the sarpanch level institutions, along with the animal protection authorities, like we have the Animal Welfare Board of India. They should come on a common platform and they should have a mechanism that when the cow and such kind of animals are getting transferred across the states or intra-states. So they should provide some sort of license for that, which can be shown by the drivers of these trucks, so as to prevent such kind of things with them, which actually happens. Numbers, on the other hand, where this vigilantism is happening, where the normal people are taking the policing in their hand. So here, the police authorities should work out on the intelligence with various stakeholders and the spy system, and obviously the use of data management, um, along with the data management, we should have the proper identification of these people who are engaged in these social ills. And for an example, here we can use the example of e-beat system of Delhi Police, which is considered as a very innovative step as far as the technology is concerned. So let me just tell you in brief what it is all about. E-beat system is basically a data book which is being provided to the beat officers of Delhi Police. Every PSR is having the account of it, so they can log in with their ID in that, and they can identify if any suspicious activity is happening, and they can actually see that the person who is doing all kind of these things is the part of these data crimes or not. And once it is so, so definitely, and on the moment, on the heat of the moment, they can take them into custody and prevent such kind of incidents where the communal violence happens on a very large scale and communities come at the forefront.
Okay, nice solutions put up by you. I like the points.
So now the MHA bringing tough measures in the name of removing sedition provisions. So this is a political statement. We should not look at. So today we are seeing the World Sight Day for the eyes improvement today, but we are seeing that छोटे छोटे बच्चों को हमारे चश्मे लग जाते हैं, ग्लूकोमा और अलग अलग आईज कॉम्प्लिकेशंस हो रही हैं. And obviously this is not because of technology, this is because of us only, who are not using technology in an appropriate manner, in a timely fashion manner. We are getting susceptible to it, we are getting stuck to it, and we are not able to understand that everything should be utilized in a sustainable manner. So this is a hospital, I7 hospital, who has provided some of the state-of-the-art technologies to fight and to take actions against these eyes problems. And so, in general, what we can talk is that we should improve our diets, we should improve our standard of living, and we should try to use in a very sustainable manner the technological sphere to prevent the
Area.
destruction
We
of
have
our eyes.
beautiful solutions also mentioned specifically, like you can follow the 20-20-20 lifesaver, wherein you need to develop this habit कि आप 20 minutes के लिए pause करो, shift your gaze to another object which is 20 feet away from you, at least for 20 seconds. So this would be again bringing you respite and relaxation to your eyes, reducing the strain. Then position also matters, like when you need to adjust your screen, ensuring it is at the arm's length. So screen stop should align with, or it should be slightly below, tame the glare. Lighting can make all the difference. So that is important, that the place where you're basically using screen, that is well lit. Staying hydrated, blink more, that's important, as highlighted, that we need to focus upon the food that we are intaking. Embracing regular eye checkups is also important. So these are some of the part of the solutions that can be made a part of our daily lives in order to reduce the strain on our eyes and maintain our sight properly, so that again we follow proper healthy lifestyle for that.
Yeah. So Haryana IAS officer Jaybir Arya arrested in bribery case. Let's look what this matter is all about. A day after the arrest of senior IAS officer Vijay Singh Dahiya in a corruption case, the Anti-Corruption Bureau of the Haryana nabbed a second IAS of the state, Mr. Arya, in a bribery case. According to details by the government officials, the middleman was arrested in the case while accepting the bribe of 3 lakhs. He's alleged on the behalf of Arya. Arya, the managing director of Haryana State Warehousing Corporation, has been arrested under the charges of seeking a bribe of sanctioning a transfer. The money was sought for position of transfer of the corporation as divisional manager in Kurukshetra. RS profile on social media website describes him as having spent 25 years working for the government of Haryana, especially the Election Commission of India in various capacities. So having such renowned personality, but still getting caught in these, so obviously that is a matter of investigation. We can't comment on this as for now. A second official privy to the development of the case told that as soon as an alleged middleman of Arya accepted the bribe money of 3 lakhs, the ACB sleuths arrested him. After questioning, the team landed at the office of Mr. Arya at Panchkula and arrested him. The IS officer was not merely based on the statement of the town. The ACB was following a case after having received a complaint in the case earlier. So the IS officer Vijay Singh Bhaiya, 6 months after he was booked in a corruption case. So obviously the
Yeah,
corruption is
question here that despite serving, like despite being in so many years in the services, 25 years, 30 years, ultimately we are seeing the number of cases, specifically the IS officers, the bureaucrats, they're getting trapped into such bribery cases. So why this number is increasing, or why does it happen after so many years of services?
actually because there are a number of factors. Number first, when a person does a lot of service, right? So
Yes.
during the service and during his tenure,
Mm.
um, he actually gets, he actually identifies the loopholes of the system. And once he gets to know, he tries to use them in his favor. This is number one reason. Number two, during the tenure, there are some officers in the young age who are very much um, curious to work in the nation, in the national development. But when he sees that because the system is such where um, it is highly difficult to work in a very you know, in a very ideal manner, so that leads to, and if person tries to do that, that leads to again a lot of hardships like transfers. As we see, transfer happens, then political pressure also comes from those. So finally that breaks their idealism and that results into their negative connotations where they do corruption. Third thing is because of the rising greed which the human tendency have, because despite giving us so much years to the service, when persons see that he's not able to um, generate wealth, obviously that is a wrong thing as far as the service is concerned. But third thing is the greed. So I think these are the three reasons on the individual level which leads to these kind of cases.
Yes, and specifically when you highlighted the point ki young officers are coming into the services, they're getting into the services. So even they somewhere have this mindset of, making money fast, or they associate the amount of wealth and money that they have with their success. So this is also one of the mindsets that specifically the younger officers carry with themselves.
No, I think we cannot generalize this thing.
So not in a
uh,
generalized manner, but where the people they are found caught in such cases, specifically they are having this kind of mindset. That is basically one thing which drives them towards taking bribes. And 3 lakhs or this is nothing in front of these services in which
obviously I understand that,
yeah.
yeah. No, actually, there are incidences where such kind of corruption cases comes into the picture when a person has done a service of, let's say, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, or 25 years. In the beginning, when the officer comes, especially when we are today seeing the high standardized training in the commissions of in the training institute, especially in the IS and the PCS officers. So we can assure that the training which is being imparted to them, that actually makes them idle and that actually makes them practical enough so as to prevent these kind of things. And obviously, the Prime Minister also stressed that your 5 or 10 first years of your service are such critical there where you can do actually something. But after you cross that bar, that leads to the identification of various loopholes, and that is a major cause of problems. And because of that, the transfer is considered as good also, because if the transfer will not be there, so that will lead to a lot of identification of the loopholes of the system and more corruption will happen.
Yes. And specifically, like we can, when we talk about other solutions, so according to me, having that mental strength training. When we see that, once you enter the service, you're seeing that there's whole nexus which is running around this. You're seeing the fellow officers are involved in such cases. So it becomes very difficult for you to, stop your own self from getting involved in such cases. So even, having that mental strength is very important.
देखिए, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि ये जो मेंटल स्ट्रेंथ की आपने बात की, ये अच्छी चीज है, लेकिन इसको देने के तरीके अगर हम इंस्टीट्यूशनल तरीके से इसे देने की कोशिश करेंगे तो दिस विल बी हजार्डस थिंग। द रीजन, इसका रीजन क्या है? इसका रीजन ये है कि अगर आप किसी की मेंटल स्ट्रेंथ को फॉर्मुलेट कर रहे हैं इंस्टीट्यूशनल तरीके से, पहली बात अब हो ही नहीं पाएगी। क्यों? बिकॉज व्हेन यू हैव टू हैंड, ऑन वन हैंड यू हैव 5 करोड़ एंड ऑन सेकंड हैंड you have nothing. So obviously I will go with my first hand where I'll be getting this much amount.
Why nothing? Why 5 crore versus nothing?
That is what I'm coming to. 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 So basically अगर आप मेंटल स्ट्रेंथ देते हैं तो इसमें इंस्टीट्यूशनल की जगह मुझे लगता है कि वैल्यू सिस्टम की बहुत अहमियत है, और वैल्यू सिस्टम की अहमियत तब आ सकती है जब आप अप टू बॉटम गवर्नेंस शुरू कर देंगे रादर देन बॉटम टू अप। बिकॉज बॉटम टू अप तो होती है, लेकिन अप टू बॉटम में अगर पॉलिटिकल विल भी हमारी इस तरीके से है कि हमें वैल्यू सिस्टम को अपहोल्ड करना है, हमें करप्शन नहीं करना है, तो हमारी ब्यूरोक्रेसी भी उसी चीज पर चलेगी। अदरवाइज इट इज हाईली डिफिकल्ट, हाईली आई विल से इम्प्रैक्टिकल टू एज्यूम इवन।
देखो ये चीज तो सबको पता ही है कि वैल्यू सिस्टम, वैल्यूज ही फॉलो करनी चाहिए, बट डिस्पाइट दैट वी डोंट सी कि मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस, जो ऐसे केसेस हाईलाइट होते हैं वहां पे ये ऐसा विजिबल नहीं होता है। तो उसको इंश्योर करना कि हाउ ऑफिसर्स वुड बी फॉलोइंग, वुड बी ऑन ट्रैक व्हेन इट कम्स टू फॉलोइंग देयर वैल्यू सिस्टम, वो अल्टीमेट प्रॉब्लम है।
आई थिंक तो अगर हम इंस्टीट्यूशनल की बात करें तो हमारे यहाँ बहुत सारे प्रोविजंस हैं, जैसे कि वी हैव इन द सर्विस ऑल इंडिया सर्विस रूल्स, कंडक्ट रूल्स, you can't go across those. Then we have anti-corruption, conventions which are specifically for the service personnel. Then we have a number of other laws to prevent. Then Transparency Act also we have. They have to provide minutes of the meeting also. The number of things we have on the institutional level. So on the personal level and the individual level, I think the political will should try to create a wave that value and character is very much important as far as individual is concerned, a normal individual is concerned.
Another broader thing that I would like to highlight here is that over a period of time, when we do the comparative analysis, earlier such cases, they were not so transparent, or they did not enjoy this limelight. So with this also, things becoming much more transparent. So we have been seeing that corruption cases they've been following, or such incidents have comparatively reduced. So this is also one of the things, that how important transparency is and how major impact it can have on such incidences.
And along with that, I would like to add one more thing, that हम cases उजागर तो कर रहे हैं, लेकिन the irony is that in our system is such complicated and complex that despite identification and coming into the limelight of these cases, actually nothing substantial happens with these officers, and that is a major cause of concern when the young officers and those services, those personals who are in the service, they see that nothing actually happens after doing the corruption itself. Just it's a game of matter. I mean, 2 or 3 days I will come into the media and that will increase even my fame. Nothing is going to happen because nothing will work out. I will be, getting pensions. I will be getting a number of benefits from my service. Even the president only is the one person in the India who can removes me from my service. So these are the privileges which have been awarded to our bureaucrats, which actually are a major cause of concern for these kind of conditions where we find them.
Another thing is that even the role of the person who's paying the bribe, even that is important. So a person who's a part of this, who's paying the bribe, if he or she have certain kind of, I would say, options to, disclose or report such incidences, basically maintaining their identity in an anonymous manner so as to ensure their own personal level security also. So even that can also play an important role in stopping such bribery cases.
No, well, Mansi, let me just rectify this. Let's suppose I am a contractor and you are an IAS officer sitting in a very high office. I'm coming to you and
Okay.
I'm saying that I want this tender, and the worth of tender is 100 crore, right?
Okay.
Now you are saying, now you are saying, what is my benefit? Let's suppose I'm not saying that you are such a person. I'm saying just
Hmm.
assume we are assuming.
Okay.
So you are saying that just give me 10%. So I'm giving you 10% happily.
Hmm.
I don't have any problem in giving you.
Yes,
So
I understand कि आप क्या
why I
highlight
will,
कर रहे हो.
yeah,
ये
I
जो
will,
पर्सन
why
ब्राइब पे कर रहा है उसके लिए वो अमाउंट कुछ भी नहीं है. इट डज नॉट मैटर. उनके लिए जो मैटर करता है उनको अपना काम निकलवाना है. अगर उसमें थोड़ा
yeah,
बहुत अमाउंट उनको पे करना पड़ रहा है कंपैरेटिवली जो उनके लिए इतना बड़ा अमाउंट नहीं है, तो दैट इज व्हाई दे डू नॉट हेजिटेट इन पेइंग दिस. बट अगेन
exactly.
उनको भी वी नीड टू वर्क अपॉन दिस थिंग ऑल्सो कि दे नीड टू देन आइडेंटिफाई द इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ सिंगल each and every penny that they are earning and that they are paying, and how that is even leading to corrupting the entire system. And not I would say entire system, but काफी हद तक वो corrupt कर देता है system को. तो they need to
If
now
I
put
if I
अगर
am earning
बस
100 crores by looting the people, I
yes.
will not give attention to penny, na.
वही तो प्रॉब्लम है कि
So
बड़े. बट स्टिल अगर ये सिस्टम स्टार्ट होता है कहीं किसी भी लेवल से आप इसको अगर स्टार्ट करते हो, नॉट जस्ट आई वुड से कि जो बड़े कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स हैं या जो बड़े लोग हैं जिनके पास अगेन मनी इज नॉट द प्रॉब्लम. सो इवन माइनर लेवल पे भी जिन लोगों के लिए पैसा मैटर करता है, अगर दे स्टार्ट रिपोर्टिंग दिस थिंग, तो कहीं ना कहीं आगे जाके जो बड़े लोग हैं या जो अगेन वेल्दी पीपल है, दे वुड थिंक कि फिर हम क्यों पे करें इतना अमाउंट. अगर वी हैव दिस सिस्टम और वो सिस्टम सक्सेसफुली रन भी कर रहा है ऑफ सच अ रिपोर्टिंग सिस्टम जो हम बात कर रहे हैं, ऐसे केसेस अगर आप रिपोर्ट
I
कर पा
think
रहे हो.
I think इसका एक practical solution हो सकता है, and that is कि under the CVC Act we have vigilance officer
हम्म.
in every department of the government. So that vigilance officer should be provided enough powers to identify, that should be institutionally supported, and his reports and recommendations should have very much sanctity so as the government takes action on them.
यस. ओके. और इसमें ऑनलाइन रिपोर्टिंग भी हो सकती है क्योंकि फिर उसमें अगेन कुछ बायसनेस का एलिमेंट एग्जिस्ट नहीं करेगा. तो ऑनलाइन
Uh,
रिपोर्टिंग कैन आल्सो बी वन ऑफ द सॉल्यूशंस.
no, I think like we have the audit system into the financial apparatus. So we
हम्म.
can also have the investigation audits by the higher authorities.
ओके.
So going nuclear. From growing economy like India, leveraging nuclear energy is crucial to address the climate change challenges and attain its net zero goal. So India's a little down. So fossil fuel, India's economy is growing rapidly, as you all know, and it is expected to surpass the Germany, Japan, और हम बहुत अच्छे लेवल पर इकोनॉमी की रोबस्टनेस पर काम कर रहे हैं, जैसा कि हमें दिखने को देख रहा है. Fossil fuel consumption is a major cause of the global warming एंड एग्जिस्टेंशियल क्राइसिस है ह्यूमैनिटी के लिए. नेट जीरो की अगर हम बात कर रहे हैं, ग्लोबल कंसेंसस भी बन गया है, दैट इज 2045 टू 2070 टाइम फ्रेम. इवन एंड इंडियन रेलवे इज मच हेड देन आवर कंट्रीज ओवरऑल एरिया, विच इज सेइंग कि हम तो इससे पहले ही कर देंगे. एंड डेवलपमेंट एस्पिरेशंस रिक्वायर अ मैनीफोल्ड इंक्रीज इन पर कैपिटा एनर्जी. देन ह्यूमन डेवलपमेंट इंडेक्स, we all aspire to reach comparable to advanced countries of the world, but obviously we need to work a lot in that. Energy clean requirements की हम बात करते हैं, और where we are also focusing on the renewables like solar plants, bio plants, hydrogen, gas based energy, and biofuels, methane, ethanol blending, e-vehicles, a number of good steps we are taking. And now we are also focusing on scaling up the nuclear energy. So we also founded a phobia around the nuclear energy, and but today it is one of the cleanest and the safest energies capable of effectively dealing with the public and climate change. Water issue is also reduced to a negligible level, and if you have, अगर हम बात करते हैं self reliance की, तो luckily this technology front will make us capable of getting self reliance. We need to have a 6-pronged national strategy for this. So number one, indigenous 700 megawatt PWHR. Please Google it out. The first unit of which is already in the commercial operations should be the prime workhorse of electricity capacity